Hi, I'm Jeremy Elborn. I'm the Executive Director here at artsPlace. It's a great thrill for us to welcome you back to another one of these online concerts at artsPlace, featuring our wonderfully talented local musicians. Before we get going, I'd just like to have a brief shout out and thank you to our sponsors for these events, the Government of Canada through the Department of Heritage, the Calgary Foundation, and the many individual sponsors who are also helping make these happen on a per concert basis. I do have a couple of short requests that I would like to make before we get going tonight. First is, please do consider supporting our local musicians by buying their music. This is how they are making ends meet during these very interesting and difficult times. The second is, if you are able, please consider making a donation to artsPlace. We do rely on the support of our community to offer the programming that we do, and any gift that you make will go directly towards supporting local artists as well as our free and low-cost programming. Thank you once again for being here and enjoy the show.
Hi everybody, I'm Heather Jean Jordan and I'm very happy to be playing at artsPlace today for part of their great series they're putting out during COVID-19 when nobody can actually come and be in the theater with me. I'm very pleased to be in your homes with you on your computers, or maybe you have it going through a TV. I'd suggest that if you can, hook this up to the best speakers you have in your house because it'll be a much better concert that way. I'm going to be playing all originals today, and I'm going to start with a piece that I wrote about a special person in Banff. He's passed away now. His name was Glenn Hahnemann, and he was homeless, but at the end of his days, he was able to have some assisted living in Calgary, thanks to a nice person who helped him. And he was very talented. He wrote poetry, and he did art, and the song was about him and how he left the park, but also he was just kind of a beautiful light in town as well. And during a tough time like this, I know I'm starting on a little bit of a downer note, but it's a hopeful song, and it's thinking about the people who don't have a place to go. So the question that the song poses, and the title of the song is, "Where do you go?" Yesterday I saw you in the stacks, 'neath a fort of coats and paper bags. You whispered something quiet to the clock. She said, "Please stay till it's dark." You were reading Higgins Clark. And when will it be that we finally see you throwing off your heavy cloak of mystery? Where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go? When the day is done and the lights are low, why do they stare? It isn't fair, or don't they care? When all you ask is to simply be there, where do you go? I remember when we first met in the park. Your smile so bright, your skin sun dark. You asked me if I couldn't play some Hank Williams, please and thanks. And you sang along, knew every single song, and we shared in the joy just to simply belong, until the cops moved you along. Wouldn't say what you'd done wrong. Where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go? When the day is done and the lights are low, why do they stare? It isn't fair, or don't they care? When all you ask is to simply be there, where do you go? I saw you on the street the other day, on the corner where people pay. You asked them if they didn't have spare a dime, but they didn't have the time. And the next dawn day when they carry you away, will anybody ask and will anybody say, where do you go, where do you go, where do you go, when the day is done and the lights are low? Why do they stare? It isn't fair, or don't they care? When all you ask is to simply be there. Where do you go, where do you go, where do you go, when the day is done and the lights are low? Why do they stare? It isn't fair, or don't they care? When all you ask is to simply be there. When all you ask is to simply be there. Where do you go? Thank you. All right, so the next song I'm going to sing, oh man, I just realized I'm starting with two kind of sad songs in a row, but this song is hopeful too. So, you know, they're only sad if you don't take action and find ways to make them better in your heart. And this is called Broken Rings, and it's about when people pass away and we feel that feeling of grief and almost betrayal, but at the same time, there is sweetness in remembering them, and we do eventually move on, even though they're still with us always. I'm just gonna have a quick sip of my water, and then I'll play this. Only she can make the aspen tremble, wolf willow ne'er resemble the silver-tipped moonlight. Lonesome he seeks ripples of redemption in pools of cool reflection, still waters latent lie. Broken rings fall tinny to the floor, a solid metaphor to hearts so unknowable. April breeze sweeps clear across the prairie, as swift as skies may carry the seeds of July's bloom. Autumn winds clip blooms of sweet abandon, the frost a stiff companion sweeps silver on a tomb. Broken rings fall tinny to the floor, a solid metaphor to hearts so unknown more. And the wind in the trees may stir the aching heart, and the dying of the year will signal a new start in each and a beginning. Or so the story goes, neither losing nor winning, just the way the river flows. Die, 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 da, die, die, die. Die, die, da, die, die, die. Die, 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 da, die, die, die. Die, die, da, die, die, die. Die, 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 da, die, die, die. Die, die, da, die, die, die. Die, 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 da, die, die, die. Die, die, da, die, die, die. Only she can make the aspen tremble, wolf willow ne'er resemble the silver-tipped moonlight. Lonesome he seeks ripples of redemption in pools of cool reflection, still waters latent lie. Broken rings fall tinny to the floor, a solid metaphor to hearts so unknown more. And the wind in the trees may stir the thank you for being here with me today. I just love sharing my original music, as I'm sure most musicians do, and I just feel, again, so lucky to be able to do it this way and at such a wonderful venue. And I hope that you're all doing your best to support artsPlace as you can in these times. Not everybody is having an easy time, that's for sure. And we people in the arts especially are having a very interesting time. This is an unusual concert for me, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. This next song that I'm going to play is called Alfarezen, and it's based on an Icelandic folk song, which itself was based on a German poem. So there was a German poem about a fairy queen, and then it was translated into Icelandic, and the Icelandic people fell so in love with it that they just owned it. And the Icelandic translation is just ever so slightly different from the German. It's a little more personal. It's a little more in touch with their own natural setting. There's a beautiful mention of swans in it. And then I made my own version of it, and it's not the same tune as the Icelandic folk song. My family has an Icelandic connection. My dad is half Icelandic, and so we would sing the Icelandic folk song at home, and it sounds like Stóð út í tungslösi, stóð uppi skó, stóra kamuskarar af álfum var það nóg, blessuð þeirri sungluður bar þar að með skjótt, bjallurnar gula á heiðskeri nótt, bjallurnar gula á heiðskeri nótt. So when I started looking at the poetry, we learned an English version too, which was very childlike. It was about walking in the moonlight in a forest glade. Suddenly I saw the fairies on parade. And when I read the Icelandic, the direct translation of the Icelandic poetry, it's a little more eerie. At the end of the poem, there's a mention of how, you don't know almost, the fairy queen herself is so beautiful that it's almost fearsome. Like you could almost die in ecstasy, but also in fear. And so I tried to capture that a little more, and I think my version is just a little more wild, perhaps. And so this is Alfarezen. While I was out one dappled night, I came across a gilded glade, laid out in silky smooth-skin twilight, a path for the fairies' parade. They firstly filled the glade with music, then filled the holy night as well with trumpet song proclaiming proudly and clearly resounding golden bells. Her steeds of snow white galloped gaily, with antlers golden red aglow, just as when swans explode from stillness, fly south with glad songs and wings roll. Ooh, 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 ooh. She greeted me with easy laughter, then tossed her crown so fearlessly, I knew not if I'd die so fearful. Oh, wither in ecstasy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh. okay, I'm going to play one more song in this tuning, and then I'm going to put a capo on and come up a little bit rather than changing instruments. All right, this next song is called Columbia, and I wrote it while I was attending I guess not attending, I was part of a residency in Revelstoke. My husband and I went there, and we stayed in an amazing cabin, and there's no real electricity. There's kind of solar power for a light now, which is amazing, but when we stayed there, there was not. You have to bring in your own running water. There's a 2-story outhouse. And I'll try to remember to mention what that means later, but it was quite an interesting place to be. And I just fell in love with the Columbia River. It's so beautiful. If you ever are able to go to Revelstoke, just sit and stare at that Columbia River. It is incredible. And I found it very healing. We were going through kind of a tough time. You know, one of us had lost her job, and it was very tricky. So it was so healing seeing that river, and I just felt inspired to write a song about it. So this is called Columbia, and I'm going to have another sip of water. So much. All right, I'm going to put this capo on and have a quick tune because nobody wants to listen to an out of tune uke. This is a baritone ukulele. I feel so lucky to have this uke. It's perfect for me. I'm pretty small, so I've always found guitars quite uncomfortable. Even the small kind of parlor size guitars, but oh, I'm hearing a buzz. There we go. But this is a nice 1960s uke by Martin, and very lucky to have even been able to grab this uke because they're very far and few between. Martin stopped making baritones, so it's a sticky little. So the next song I'm going to play you is one of the few love songs I've written for my husband, and I wrote it while we were driving. It was kind of a crazy night. We were driving between Calgary and Banff, and when you get to Lac des Arcs, the winds there are just so wild, and we had an older vehicle, and it had the hood would make a sound like if there were high winds, and so it was quite unnerving, and I was feeling nervous, so I wrote a song, and I tried to make something that felt quite steady. So this is called Heart to Heart. When we're alone on that whistling road and the wind sings, and the night is wild, but Orion leads us home. This is when I love you most. When the northern lights reach their greatest heights and the wolf sings, and we share a chill midst our collective sighs. This is when I love you most. Heart to heart, you are gentle on my mind, a star burning bright. You are my All right, I'm going to play kind of a silly folk song now. Now that I've played all the serious songs, I'm going to play a slightly more silly song that I wrote in a traditional folk style. It's called Little Nut. It seems to be well liked by children and adults because it has kind of a story to it, and I hope you enjoy it. Oh, and you can sing along. There's kind of a ooh, ooh, ooh. So you can sing along to that part. I went down to the valley where the little creek flows, where the little fishes come and nibble on your toes. I was looking for a woman who could tell me how it goes down in the valley where the little creek flows. Wise woman, where can you be? Then a whoop from the sky fell a nut from the tree. I said the nut, are you looking for me down by the creek in the little valley? Here you go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Well, a nut's not a woman, that's as plain as day, and a horse is not its pile of hay. But you don't need a chatty acorn every day down by the creek in the little valley. Little nut, will you tell me why the crocus blooms just for to die? Why does the wild goose choose to fly? Said I to the nut in the little valley. Ooh, 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 ooh. The crocus blooms to call the spring. It will return like everything, like a nut to a tree, like a goose on the wing, said the little nut in the little valley. Little nut, can you please tell me when I grow up what shall I be? Will I be a singer or a beggar or a bee, or a wise woman in a little valley? Ooh, 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 ooh. Look down in the river, see how it flows. It swoops, it swells, it shrinks, it grows. It never tells but always knows, said the little nut where the little creek flows. I looked down in the river, all I saw was me and the little acorn who had fallen from the tree. Little nut, are you fooling me? Said I to the nut in the little valley. Ooh, 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 ooh. Know you are the river as it flows to the sea, and the acorn when it leaves the tree, and the goose and the singer and the beggar and the bee, and the wise woman in the little valley. Then the little nut jumped from beneath its tree into the little creek that flows out to the sea, and was eaten by a fish who was eaten by me down by the creek in the little valley. Well, I came feeling empty and I left feeling full, like a river feels the ocean's pull. Wise woman, I may truly be, but it all sounds a little bit nuts to me. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to switch to my concert ukulele over here, which is also a Martin. I just realized I brought my 2 Martins, and they have such a nice sound. So the next song I'm going to sing is I wrote actually in Revelstoke as well, and it's called Crab Apple Pie. And it's about, I guess it's about a relationship that's going through some interesting changes. Changes in the way that each person in the couple kind of sees themselves. And so one person sees it in a very traditional sense, and the other is a little more rebellious. But probably the description of the main character, which is the woman in the song, is kind of a mix of what both of them think. So this is called Crab Apple Pie. He says she's sweet as sugar, she's soft as butter, such a sweet little treat. She says I'm tart as apples, them big crab apples bite you back when you eat. He says she's a flower blooming beautiful in the midday sun. She says, yeah, I'm some flower, keep the people fed when the day is done. You need me, you need me, you need me. The woman is a crab apple pie, a sweet and sour crab apple pie. The woman is a crab apple. He says, I live to serve you, I don't deserve you, I'm a breadwinning guy. She says, well, I don't need you, who needs bread to feed you when we got pie? The woman is a crab apple pie, a sweet and sour crab apple pie. The woman is a crab apple. Crab apple pie, I can't get enough of that crab apple pie, keep making me cry, but I can't get enough of that crab apple pie. He says she's sweet as sugar, she's soft as butter, such a sweet little treat. She says I'm tart as apples, them big crab apples bite your back when you eat. He says she's a flower blooming beautiful in the midday sun. She says, yeah, I'm some flower, keep the people fed when the day is done. You need me, you need me, you need me. Crab apple pie, can't get enough of that crab apple pie, keep making me cry, but I can't get enough of that crab apple pie. He says I don't deserve you, I live to serve you, I'm a breadwinning guy. She says, well, I don't need you, who needs bread to feed you when we got pie? A woman is a crab apple pie, sweet and crabapple pie. The woman is a crabapple. All right. It's funny. I'm going to play another song I wrote in Revelstoke. It was a very inspiring. It was a special residency. I think it's called the Caribou Cabin Residency, and you basically just create whatever you want when you're up there. And we saw some fun little pine martens. Oh, I was going to come back to the two-story outhouse. So my imagination, especially at the beginning, thought, what could a two-story outhouse be? But it's because they get so much snow that in the wintertime, you have to climb in the outhouse from the second story and climb down. So, yes, it's not stacked. It's not the most horrible situation you could think of. It's quite an interesting one instead. So this is called Another Log on the Fire. And it's another song about, I guess we were going through some interesting changes in our lives, and this was a song about letting go of old dreams and even seeing them for what they are, seeing them, maybe the dreams weren't that great anyway. Toss another log on the fire. Watch the flames growing higher, and we'll dance like our ancestors did. Let the flames and the drum beat conspire. Put your hand to my breast. Feel my heart through my chest. Feel it beat, beat, beat. Oh, it never will retreat from the touch of the one who loves me best. And we are two roots entwined, pushing through sifted soil, seeking water. And I delight in counting your rings, tracing histories that we say we wanted. Toss another log on the fire. Watch the flames growing higher, and we'll dance like our ancestors did. Let the flames and the drum beat conspire. And is it sick to compare us to trees and delight in the sight of a fire? Watch the sap spit, spark, crackle, and hiss as it burns through our dreams uninspired. I wish that I was as deep as the waters I claim to have drunk from the springs. You look at me like I hold all the answers, but I know I don't know a thing. Toss another log on the fire. Watch the flames growing higher, and we'll dance like our ancestors did. Let the flames and the drum beat conspire. All right, I think I have a couple more songs, and they're over on the piano. So I will mosey on over there. And thanks again for listening. This is quite fun to do. I just imagine that you're here. I have a pretty good imagination, so it's very useful in these situations. I'll see you at the piano. song is called Willow Waltz, and I wrote it, it's kind of about Manitoba, and that's where I'm from originally, and I love the prairies. I love the mountains and the prairies, and it took me a while to actually reconcile that fact. I think when I first moved to Banff, so many people would say, oh, you're so lucky to get out of the prairies. But I miss them so much, and they're not mutually exclusive. I can love both. So the song is about them, the most beautiful northern lights I've ever seen. We're driving from my university in Brandon to my parents' house further north, and they really do dance in the sky. They were incredible. So this is called Willow Waltz. Have you seen the willow, the old oak tree? Why, they're talking to you, they're talking to me. The aspen, the maple, the poplar, the ash, we've crossed the plain like a long silken sash, and the owl in the tree and the bird on the hand are playing the part of a six-piece string band. While the auroras leap high to a song all their own, they sway to the tune as they beckon me home. Now maybe I'm wrong, but tell me I'm right, that the broad prairie skies are much brighter at night. And if I whistle a tune by the deep creek at dawn, will the tune keep a traveling, travel on, travel on? While the auroras leap high to a song all their own, they sway to the tune as they beckon me home. Now maybe I'm wrong, but tell me I'm right, that the broad prairie skies are much brighter at night. And if I whistle a tune by the deep creek at dawn, will the tune keep a traveling, travel on, travel on? All right, this next tune is also a waltz, and it's called Churchill. So I guess I'm doing two in a row that are kind of about Manitoba and are also waltzes. There's something about Manitoba. Growing up there, my dad is an old-time fiddle player. He's a farmer and a pianist and an organist. and so many things. He was my voice teacher and my piano teacher, and so a great life teacher too. And when you grew up in a family with old-time music, you learned to waltz and polka, and I often do write in the old-time styles. So it's no wonder this song, which is called Churchill, is in a waltz. Going down to Churchill, where the polar bears grow, have a meeting on an ice floe, where there's 40 below. Talking politics with you always seem to be a waste. Took the train to Brandon, that's where harmony lives. Saw a presentation, ants that fall through a sieve. Turn the combine on, listen to a song while they're harvesting the wheat. The wheat, the wheat, the wheat. Went to see the heron down old Sandy Bay way. Heard a couple, only 14, take a roll in the hay. Consequential child raised out in the wild, well, I hope his life is sweet. Is sweet, is sweet, is sweet. Shooting up the narrows, found an old cenotaph. Seen the man at the base, near the names all rusted to black. Watch the man with a plan do a headstand, sing, oh Canada, oh Canada, oh Canada, oh Canada. Okay, I have one more song for you. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and thank you so much for the wonderful crew that's here and all the amazing people at artsPlace. I can't thank you enough. This is such a wonderful opportunity, and I just thank you for welcoming me into your homes and into this beautiful space. So this last song is about nature and our stewardship of it. If we're going to take ownership of land, we have to care for it, right? So this is a song about really being with nature and fighting for nature, and it's called Give Back. We'll take back the mountains, the lakes and the seas. We're tired of begging, we're up off our knees. And if you knock us over, we'll rise up anew, singing loud for sweet sunsets and fine morning dew. And we'll sing, give us back our living land. See us now go hand in hand, leave your doubt at the door, line yourself shore to shore. They've given us less, let's show them we're more. Maybe the mountains will rise from repose. Maybe the rivers will alter their flows, and the birds of the trees sing in wild revelry, while we dance for the mountains, the birds and the bees. And we'll sing, give us back our living land. See us now go hand in hand, leave your doubt at the door, line yourself shore to shore. They've given us less, let's show them we're more. This greed is sickness, it takes kindness too. You steal from the poor since you've nothing to do. Rob from the rivers, the lakes and the seas. Catch flies with sweet honey just to spread your disease. And so we cry mighty to give peace a chance. We're not much for fighting, but we'll sure as hell dance. Spin you in circles till you can't see straight. We won't stop the whirling till we've altered our fate. And we'll sing, give us back our living land. See us now go hand in hand, leave your doubt at the door, line yourself shore to shore. They've given us less, let's show them we're more. They've died at the door, line yourself shore to shore. They've given us less, let's show them we're more. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.